Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're watching me from. As usual, I'm your financial advisor, Innocent Kaigama. This moment also, I still want to talk on the recent announcement by the federal government of Nigeria that there'll be intervention in terms of food and food crisis in Nigeria. The federal government has announced that they have earmarked about 42,000 metric tons of grain to intervene. In as much as I know many will be happy that this is a good move, but to some of us, we know that there's always a very bad move. Number one, most of those interventions never get down to the real people that are in need of such intervention. Number two, it is always a breeding ground for corruption. Many are diverting such a huge amount of money, huge funds from such intervention. And number three, it is also a lazy man policy. It is capable of making people to depend solely on government, not to be creative and not to think out of box or even think without the box. And such is always affecting our election pattern. People tend to vote because they are always thinking of voting toward people that will always intervene and give them palliatives. And the last thing I want to say is, another thing I want to point out as a last point is, federal government itself is not helping the matter. At a moment like this is not what we want. We want a lasting solution. Yes, in as much as there are some short-term measures that is also important, but we need a lasting solution. And the lasting solution to this is for the federal government to cut down on cost of governance at all level. At all level. Take down 60 to 70% of all the allowances of the political office holders. Put it together with all those interventions you are talking about. Make the resources from federal government, state government, and local government available. Put it together as an intervention fund and use it to pipe water from the two main rivers and other even lakes that we have in Nigeria. We have River Niger, River Benue. We have very open land in the northern part of this country. Pipe the water, connect the water to all the open land we have in the northern part of this country. People will come out and farm. The next thing is just to work on security. Revive every form of security in this country. Let them protect lives and property of people as people go out to farm. Organize people to go out and farm in mass, in groups. Within a year, within 2 years, Nigeria will not only be self-sufficient, we will export more than exporting, more than any country in the world. We have the land, we have the human resources, we have the markets. Why should we be talking about intervention, distributing food as if we are all IDPs in our own country? A very miserable policy. Aim at just exploiting the resources of the country the more. I call on masses to also reject this. I know it's painful, I know it's tough, but please, can we reject this? If federal government cannot think right, masses, can you think right and reject this? And if you can't think right, I will still call on the federal government to think at least right, even for once. It didn't work under the last regime. It cannot work now. It did not help. It cannot help. No country in the world survive on intervention, palliatives, and other things. They survive on collective hard work, turning the economy around. Everybody contributing his own quota. And that will get us out of this present mess. I pray Nigeria get better. Do have a wonderful day.